What's up, guys? This is the Jose Show. Happy Thursday. I cannot believe that we are almost in the month of August, and today is J-Lo's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to the queen. She turns 56 years old, and man, that woman does not look over 30. I cannot believe that she is already 56 years old, but this just comes to show that the woman is really self-disciplined with her own health, with her own looks, and everything else, and I am proud of that woman. But anywho, let's get into the first topic of the day. Let's talk about Cardi B. So Cardi B, as we all know, got into a little incident with the fan a few years ago over in Vegas. Apparently Cardi B got to throw a microphone at a fan because the fan got to throw, I believe, water or soda at Cardi B while Cardi B was on stage performing. Well, Cardi B is being sued for that case, and apparently Drew Findling tells TMZ Hip Hop the lawsuit against Cardi regarding the 2-year-old microphone incident is a transparent and pitiful attempt at a financial shakedown. So, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and the Clark County District Attorney's Office closed this matter for insufficient evidence a long time ago, but apparently the opportunity to try to make money off of a celebrity was too much for some willing law firm to pass up. Okay, so this is really interesting, man, that Cardi B is getting sued for something that happened 2 years ago, because first and foremost, the woman that got to throw a drink at Cardi B was the cause of the incident because she was the one that created the violence in the first place. And of course, Cardi B is that type of person that if you give her violence, she'll give you violence in return, because Cardi B is that person that loves to defend herself, because at the end of the day, she was supposed to defend herself anyways. And also, let's remember that Cardi was, trying to perform. She was trying to, make her fans look good. She was trying to do her very best to have a really good time, especially over on stage over in Vegas. And all of a sudden, this fan was over here trying to ruin her life and trying to ruin her time over in Vegas. And to be honest, I believe that the reason to why this fan ended up throwing that beverage at Cardi B was because this fan wanted their 5 seconds of fame, but they got their 5 seconds of bad fame, that's for sure. And I believe that it was also not just very humiliating, but also really darn childish and ridiculous at the same time that this fan went off and threw a beverage at Cardi B. We need to start being more mature, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to us showing up to these events. We cannot be throwing stuff at people. We cannot be throwing stuff at artists. We need to just enjoy the show, have a good time, and that's basically it. That's not hard, okay? And since this whole entire lawsuit is already being seen as something that is basically trying to be beneficial towards the fan because the fan wants money from Cardi B, it sounds like it to me, especially because of the fact that Cardi B, was defending herself after this person got to cause the whole entire incident. It seems like it to me that this fan is not going to win the lawsuit. This fan is just going to be seen as this person that wants money. This person is going to be seen as this person that is, wanting the attention and that is wanting a bunch of stuff from Cardi. And I don't think that's something that the courthouse wants, especially because of the fact that the courthouse already knows that Cardi B went off and threw a microphone at the fan in terms of, angering her, and also because Cardi B was trying to defend herself. And at the end of the day, I don't think the fan got injured because of the fact that a microphone was thrown at her, because I don't think things were really all that bad at the end of the day. So, anywho, this is really interesting, and you know what? It sounds like it to me that Cardi B has better things to be worrying about at this point than to be worrying about a 2-year-old incident in the first place. Okay, now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. So Ghislaine Maxwell is reportedly preparing new evidence to present during her upcoming meeting with the federal government this week. As we all know, the U.S. Department of Justice announced Tuesday it plans to meet with Maxwell to hear what she has to say that could help the government track down abusers connected to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's criminal enterprise. So her brother Ian Maxwell told the New York Post via email that she will be putting before that court material new evidence that was not available to the defense at her 2021 trial, which would have had a significant impact on its outcome. So her highly anticipated tell-all with the feds is happening today, according to reports. News broke that she was subpoenaed by a U.S. congressional committee Wednesday over questions about the infamous Epstein files. Okay, so as you may recall, Epstein's former close associate and ex-girlfriend never testified during her 2021 sex trafficking trial, which landed her a 20-year prison sentence for her role in recruiting women and minors for Epstein and others to sexually abuse. All right, so she is thought to have knowledge of a wide range of information about Epstein and his social and sexual engagements, including who he included and where and when they took place. All right, so this is really insane that Ghislaine Maxwell is basically preparing new evidence on the whole entire sex trafficking situation here, because I think that it is about damn time that somebody gets to be showing new evidence, because for years we've been talking about the same mumbo jumbo and people were all like, okay, yeah, but we haven't really known deeper further in with the whole entire case here like we should have, so that way we can really know more of the victims and we can really know how big the case was, so that way we can all be aware on who Jeffrey Epstein was, and of course so all of these people that were the victims can hopefully get help from all of what they went through from this horrible man, and of course so we can also notice that America needs to go forward when it comes to their own justice system, okay? Because unfortunately, there have been so many crime cases like these where so many people, they suffer and they are miserable and they are traumatized. And unfortunately, the justice system doesn't really know much about the whole entire situation, which is the reason to why these court cases end up being very useless. And there's not much that is being done with all of these cases, and I feel like now it is about damn time that something is being done here with a case like this. I mean, I completely understand that Jeffrey Epstein is dead now, but I mean, we can at least know more on what happened and this whole entire situation with the sex trafficking and the victims, of course, staying silent all these years because of the fact that they've been so scared to be speaking up, and the fact that the ex-girlfriend of Epstein got to not say anything and didn't get to testify during the 2021 sex trafficking trial really was a bad thing, because this person should have actually said something about the whole entire thing while the case was going on back in 2021, because that right there would have helped the court a lot into tracking down the victims. That right there would have helped a lot into making sure that justice is actually made the way it should be made. And also, the fact that this person did not go off and disclose or testify on what happened with the whole entire sex trafficking thing going on back in 2021 comes to show that this person was actually trying to cover up Jeffrey Epstein. Because, come on now, this situation, this information is very important for us to know, and that really landed her a 20-year prison sentence because of the fact that, hey, you can't be covering up something that you already knew. Like, really, that is kind of making this person, I believe, an accomplice in a way, if I'm not mistaken. And it's very scary and it's very true. And we're talking about not just women, we're also talking about minors that were involved in this whole entire case here, which is very difficult. It's very delicate here, what we're seeing and what we're hearing. Okay, so anywho, it's really scary too at the same time that unfortunately the Epstein files have not gotten released, which I feel like they should get released, because that I believe would give us even more evidence. It would give us more of a way to actually know more things on what this whole entire situation happened, instead of just sitting here guessing and hoping for the files to open anytime soon. And I have a feeling that Trump has a lot to do with these Epstein files, because it's already being rumored that Trump got involved with Epstein in a way, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe that the reason to why these Epstein files aren't released yet is because I believe Trump doesn't want them to be released, I think, which to me is also really suspicious, and it's really scary. Like, why doesn't Trump want anything to be released? Like, what the heck is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? This is definitely something that, is having us question. And Ghislaine Maxwell, I believe she's trying to do the best she can to really expose everything, that's for sure. And she could be the hero, I guess, for trying to preparing new evidence at the end of the day. So, anywho, good luck to this case, and on to the next topic. Now let's talk about something really sad. So unfortunately, this past Tuesday, music rock icon Ozzy Osbourne passed away at the age of 76 unexpectedly, and I am so heartbroken and I am in so much shock that Ozzy Osbourne passed away, because he didn't show any signs to me that he was doing bad at all, and that he seemed like he was just doing fine because of the fact that he just finished his own tour not so long ago. And I thought that he was going to survive at least another 20 years at least, because of how fine he seemed to me. But anywho, tributes are pouring in from music legends and celebrities after Ozzy Osbourne, the rock and heavy metal icon turned reality show star, has died at the age of 76. So it is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. His family said in a statement signed by wife Sharon Osbourne and their children Kelly, Jack, Amy, as well as his son Louis from his prior marriage to Thelma Riley. He was with his family and surrounded by love. We ask everyone to respect our family privacy at this time. So the Black Sabbath rocker lived with Parkinson's disease. Earlier this month, Osbourne played what was dubbed his final bow from a throne at Villa Park in the UK. So born John Michael Osbourne, the English musician, rose to fame as the so-called Prince of Darkness with his heavy metal band Black Sabbath, which he co-founded in 1968. The band released popular hits like Paranoid, Iron Man, and War Pigs. So after his 1979 departure from the band due to substance abuse issues, Osbourne launched a successful solo career, beginning with 1980's Blizzard of Oz, which featured his hit track Crazy Train. Osbourne became widely known for his wild onstage persona, including infamously biting the head off a bat during a 1982 concert. He later got a rabies shot. He went on to release 13 studio albums and was inducted twice into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006 with Black Sabbath, and again in 2024 as a solo artist. Okay, so anyways, outside of music, Osbourne also had an influence on pop culture. He became a part of the first reality TV show Family thanks to his hit MTV show, The Osbournes, which documented the chaotic, often hilarious home life he shared with wife Sharon and their children, Kelly and Jack. The show also illuminated darker sides of his personal life. However, as it revealed his struggles with substance abuse and health issues, the show ran for 4 seasons from 2002 to 2005. Osbourne announced he had been previously diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a progressive nervous system disorder, in January of 2020, a condition he later told the Los Angeles Times he had lived with since 2003. Alright, so he got to say, I'm not dying from Parkinson's, I've been working with it most of my life. So this is really insane, ladies and gentlemen, that he is gone. I think that he is now resting, and he is now up in heaven with the rest of the famous icons out there that have looked up to him, that have been getting along with him, that have been working with him, and all of that. And I think that from up in heaven, he right now is so proud of all of what he has accomplished, and he is looking down now at his family, and he's making sure that his family is doing just fine, and that his family is in good hands now that he's up in heaven. And he, of course, won't forget how much he spent so much time with his family. And of course, he is, going to, just miss his family, that's for sure. And I'm sure that his family is going to miss him now that, this poor man is now up in heaven. And yeah, but anywho, he'll forever be remembered, and he'll forever be in our hearts. And I definitely send my heart and prayers to Kelly, to Sharon, and to the rest of the family that really, really didn't want this to happen, of course. And yeah, may Ozzy Osbourne rest in peace. Now, on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Malcolm Jamal Warner. So Malcolm Jamal Warner unfortunately passed away this past Sunday due to an accidental drowning over in Costa Rica while out in the beach having a really good time with his family. And apparently the person who tried to save actor's life discharged from hospital, by the way. So apparently, there is more information that is surfacing on the condition of the other person who was involved in the incident that ultimately took Malcolm Jamal Warner's life. And the person who was identified as a 29-year-old man from Nicaragua, according to Dr. Mauricio Solano Corella, medical director for the Talamanca Health Area. So it was again confirmed that he was in the water trying to help Warner, who the Judicial Investigation Agency previously told people was swept away by a current. Okay, so after receiving treatment from the Costa Rican Red Cross and at a local hospital, the second victim made a full recovery. So apparently, the man was found to be stable, and was discharged without complications, Dr. Corella told people in a statement. Okay, so anyways, in the wake of the actor's tragic death at the age of 54, the Costa Rican Red Cross told people a second person was in critical condition after being taken to the hospital from the same incident. So this is really insane that not only was Malcolm Jamal Warner's life in danger and unfortunately taken away, but also there was another person's life that was also in danger. But the reason to why was because this other person was trying to save Malcolm Jamal Warner's life, because there are a lot of caring people out there that really, look out for others. And I'm glad that there are still caring people out there that have a heart. But unfortunately, the person trying to save Malcolm Jamal Warner couldn't really do much to save Malcolm Jamal Warner's life, because unfortunately, by the time this person was trying to save Malcolm Jamal Warner's life, Malcolm Jamal Warner was already dead, unfortunately, because there's just one thing about being in the ocean where it's just very scary and it's very harming, because unfortunately the ocean will suck you in, the ocean will get you down, and there's just no way of getting out because of the fact that the ocean is just so darn powerful. Like there are certain spots of the ocean where it's really safe to swim in and it's safe to have a good time in and this and that, but I mean, unfortunately, when you get way deep into the ocean, you get way deep into the ocean, and the ocean has more power towards you than you do towards the ocean. And I think that in this case, Malcolm Jamal Warner was not really aware of all of that, and Malcolm Jamal Warner just, decided to go all the way into the ocean and explore the ocean probably and swim more and have a really good time. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Unfortunately, he did not have a good time and he ended up passing away. So, anywho, I am really in shock about all of this, because Malcolm Jamal Warner was a healthy, active guy. He had a lot of life in him. He had a lot of happiness in him. And, we saw him in interviews not so long ago, and he was in all spirits. And I mean, now all of a sudden his life got taken away at just the age of 54. Like, Jesus Christ. And this happened just like 2 days before Ozzy Osbourne passed away, which is even more crazy. This just comes to show that we never know when our loved ones are going to pass away. We never know. And that's scary. But anyways, may Malcolm Jamal Warner rest in peace. He'll forever be remembered, especially as the lovely Theo from The Cosby Show, who played this funny son of Bill Cosby. He was, one of the best characters out in that show. I remember he made all of us laugh. He was like the big brother that everyone wanted to have, looking out for Rudy, looking out for Olivia, looking out for the rest of his siblings. And, he was, that type of guy that didn't give a damn on the show. I remember, he was taking advice from his dad, but there was times when he just didn't care about what his dad would say to him. Well, Bill Cosby. And he just, tried to do whatever the heck he wanted to do, like a typical teenager would. I remember so well. So anyways, he's gonna be remembered for his legacy. He's gonna be remembered, that's for sure. But anyways, may he rest in peace. Malcolm Jamal Warner. Now that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of the Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.